So, seeing as how I wanted to use this page to just let my brain explode with all the thoughts and ideas I had stored up, but didn't feel like boring people with it in real life, I decided to make a video about my favorite game, Metal Gear Solid, and a few ideas and theories I have about overarching stories of Solid Snake, Big Boss, the Patriots, and even Kaz and Ocelot. More videos like this will probably come along as I get more comfortable with YouTube, but I just wanted to let everyone know, yes, I see you, 6 viewers, that all of my videos won't be political in nature. I'm not entirely sure exactly where I want to take this page just yet, but hey, maybe that'll be the fun part of making this YouTube channel. Figuring it out. Anyways, let's begin. I've been thinking a lot about Kaz Miller and how he ended up being Solid Snake's mentor. I've been wondering how that comes to happen. Now, given a lot of my speculation comes from little details in the original 2 Metal Gears from the MSX, and those little details have been known to be brushed aside as newer games come along. But I'm going to work off of the original canon until it's been proven to not be canon. With that being said, this theory, or these groups of theories, are gonna take a lot of build up to really put together, and I tend to ramble and come up with newer ideas whenever I talk about things, so just bear with me. I'm gonna tie it all back to the theory, even if it seems like I'm going off on a tangent. My original idea came about when I finished Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes, and it had to do with Big Boss at some point maybe asking Kaz to look over David when he started to realize that he was too deep in, or maybe Kaz decided to go back to America or something. Now, that probably seems like a very wishy-washy thing for Big Boss to do, but in my defense, this was after Peace Walker and around the time Ground Zeroes was about to come out. Big Boss wasn't really super villainous just yet. You could still see a small flicker of light in his eyes. So, it's not like I really had an idea of just how bad Big Boss could have gotten. Fast forward a few months, I've played Ground Zeroes and seen more of Phantom Pain, and I realized that, yeah, Big Boss lost his humanity. No goodness is gonna come from him. In the words of the song Sense of the Father, so I started wondering again, how are they going to make that loop? How are they going to make Kaz go back to America, become a drill sergeant for the American Green Berets, and train Solid Snake for the team that is led by Big Boss himself while on American soil, a country that at this point is influenced heavily by the Patriots, a group that is an enemy to both Big Boss and Kaz. That's when I remembered a line from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, from Kaz himself, or as he was known then, Master Miller. He told Snake that Big Boss was a monster. Keeping that in mind, I started noticing things from the new Phantom Pain trailers. Kaz seems very bitter in these trailers, for obvious reasons. But there seems to be some tension between him and Big Boss. This is mainly noticeable in the cutscene they showed where Quiet jumps off the helicopter.
Fire! Miller! She saved the boss.
She was saving herself.
Fire!
Put her in the cell.
Boss!
To me, this not only shows Kaz seeming like he's going over Big Boss's head with a crucial decision, or at least taking important decisions without waiting for Big Boss's approval, but it seems to show tension between Kaz and Ocelot. Ocelot seems friendlier and more charismatic than Kaz in every trailer or clip we have seen. Not only in his attitude, but in the interactions with Big Boss. Look at the cutscene they showed with DD. That was the most lighthearted conversation we've seen in anything regarding Phantom Pain or Ground Zeroes. And not just that, but go back to the quiet cutscene. Look at the end. Look at how Kaz and Ocelot look at Big Boss after he makes the decision to keep quiet alive.
Boss, you are going to regret this. That woman...
I know. She knows our location. Either way, one of these days we're gonna have to kill her. But now is not the time. When the time comes, I'll pull the trigger.
To me, Miller gives this quick look at Big Boss where he barely turns around to look at him while walking away and lowering his head. We've all had that look before, right? It's kind of a fucking a fine look. You know, that look we get when we think someone's making a stupid decision, when we wish with all our hearts we could go around his back and do something different, and we disagree, but we know we have no choice. Compare that to Ocelot's face. He looks quiet, looks at Big Boss, and bows his head before moving forward, as if saying, "You know best, boss," or "I trust your judgment." No face of dissent or anger or disapproval, just Big Boss said a thing, so that's what I'm going with. Ocelot seems more submissive to Big Boss's commands, while Kaz seems to be splitting ways with Big Boss when it comes to his ideas about decision making. I know this seems like I'm gripping at straws, but the facial capture was meant for doing exactly this. Convey a lot with subtle facial expressions. And also, please note that this wasn't me trying to pick up things to fit my ideas. This is the idea I got when I first saw the video. This is the first impression I got when I first saw the video. So it's not like I'm just trying to find things that fit my idea. So you may be wondering, how does this tie back into the original idea? Again, I apologize, I went in a bit of a tangent there. But as any Metal Gear fan knows, it's hard to sum up anything in Metal Gear in short sentences. So, how this all ties back in? Well, here's my theory, which is really incomplete because in a lot of parts it could split into different paths, which could split into more paths or come to a dead end. But it's a work in progress, and it's one I wanted to share. Mainly because I was wondering kind of what people's opinions were and how they could kind of maybe add to the theory or fill in holes in my theory, or just completely disagree with the theory. I just wanted to put it out there and have a conversation about it. So hopefully those 6 viewers will leave some comments. I think a big thing that clouds people's ideas when trying to guess what may happen with all the factions in Phantom Pain is the fact that we're forgetting one thing. Kaz and Big Boss are not out to get revenge on Cypher. They think they are, but they're not, remember? Zero didn't blow up Mother Base. Skullface did. XOF did. And while Skullface may have worked for Zero at one point, his goal is to take down Zero, so I don't think he's working with him anymore. XOF is the third party in all of this. And I think this is why we keep seeing Big Boss and Skullface talking all friendly in the trailers that have come out. Big Boss still thinks that Zero was the one who fucked his shit up. Up until this point, Big Boss has no idea who Skullface is, or that he even exists. For all he knows, it was Zero holding Chico and Paz captive. Whatever Skullface's plans are, he's willing to bring everyone down just to take Zero down. So what would happen if Big Boss and Kaz find out that it was Skullface who caused them all their losses? What if they get into contact with Cypher and decide that essentially the enemy of my enemy is my friend? I mean, Big Boss really doesn't have any extreme beef with Zero, other than his difference in ideology. and the fact that he tried to get Kaz to kill Big Boss, but it's not like Big Boss isn't known for making friends with people he once considered an enemy. His whole army is based around the model of our enemies are only our enemies in relative terms, or as the boss said,
Is there such a thing as an absolute timeless enemy? There is no such thing, and never has been. And the reason is that our enemies are human beings like us. They can only be our enemies in relative terms.
I mean, Kaz himself was his enemy before he became his right-hand man. And it wasn't as easy as just, Kaz tried to kill himself and Big Boss thought it was brave, so he took him in. That's what you hear in Peace Walker, and I don't know if you hear this anywhere else, but if you look at the Metal Gear Wikipedia, it goes into depth how Big Boss had to kind of convince Kaz to join him, and Kaz tried to trick him, and he tried to get people to ambush Big Boss, and then he tried to escape, and then Big Boss... It was a while before Kaz decided to actually join Big Boss. So yeah, I don't think it's beyond Big Boss to just team up with an enemy, because up to this point, his biggest beef with Zero has been the destruction of Mother Base, and if he finds out that was not Zero's doing, then he doesn't really have much to have this complete and utter hate for Zero. So if he's willing to forgive that, I think it's not too far-fetched to think Big Boss would team up with Zero to take Skullface down. Kaz, well, if you think about it, Kaz was always working with Cypher. We know this from the secret tapes on Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Hell, that's probably why he always seemed so much angrier than Big Boss in the trailers. He probably felt betrayed. But if he realizes that Zero isn't the one that's done everything to him, there is nothing preventing him from joining up with Zero again. And Zero, well, I'm sure there will be some quid pro quo for Zero to trust Big Boss and vice versa. But Zero definitely has nothing to be personally hateful towards Big Boss for. And remember what Eva said in Metal Gear Solid 4.
For Zero, more than anyone else, your father was an irreplaceable icon. No, the truth is, for Zero, he was an irreplaceable friend.
So I think Zero would be hesitant, but willing to take Big Boss back with him to reform the original Patriots. If Zero did ask something from Big Boss in order to trust him, or just as some kind of payment, or I don't know, whatever, I feel like this may be going kind of far, but if Zero required something for Big Boss for this alliance, I think it would be the AI from his Metal Gear. The reason I think this is because the Patriots from Metal Gear Solid 4 are made up of 4 AIs, governed by one central AI. I think Zero used the AIs from the Metal Gear Peace Walker, Metal Gears, Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Peace Walker, and he used Big Boss's AI as the central AI. Now, why do I think this? Remember what happened at the end of every boss battle in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. The pods flew off into oblivion. This was never explained, and I always thought it was kind of weird. Where would they fly off to? The only answer is back to the CIA. And where are the Patriots based? In America. Given, neither of the Peace Walker's AI did that, but I think that's a rather loose end and a rather decent theory. So maybe that's one of the places you guys can fill in a hole if you agree with my theory so far. As to why I think he uses Big Boss's AI as the central AI instead of the AI in Peace Walker, which was based off of the boss herself, well, remember the names of the AIs in Metal Gear Solid 4? They each represent a president, except for the AI that controlled all of them. The central AI, which was named JD, John Doe. And remember what Big Boss jokingly told Paramedic his name was? John Doe. So, either way, now we have Big Boss, Kaz, and Zero working together, but let's be honest. Big Boss isn't gonna stay in this position for long. He only wants to take Skullface and XOF down, but he still wants his army without a nation. So I'm guessing the whole time he's probably gonna be planning to leave and form what will finally be known as Outer Haven. But at this point, Kaz has no reason to go back to Big Boss, now that he's officially with Zero, perhaps even as an unofficial member of the Patriots. Especially now that, if my theory is correct, him and Big Boss have split off. If my theory is correct, Kaz is gonna come to a point where he disagrees so much with Big Boss that they're just gonna completely go their own way. And this ties back to how Kaz straight up tells Solid Snake that Big Boss is a monster and he needs to get rid of him in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. And knowing this, Big Boss probably wouldn't trust Kaz to make Outer Haven with him anyways, because obviously Big Boss would be aware of the tension between them. So he goes off and does it on his own. Big Boss's departure to once again make his own army will probably leave Zero and Kaz, mainly Zero, infuriated. However, Big Boss makes Outer Haven and commands it for a long time before he leaves Foxhound. I mean, he left Foxhound because Solid Snake killed him, quote unquote killed. So he would have had to make Outer Haven behind Zero's and Kaz's backs while keeping his position at Foxhound. If this is true, maybe Kaz and Zero found out and sent Solid Snake in specifically because they knew only a clone of Big Boss could kill Big Boss. And remember, Kaz referred to the twins as an insurance policy. Big Boss going off to make another mercenary army seems like a good time for an insurance policy. However, I know that Big Boss said that it was him that assigned Solid Snake his mission so that he would relay false information back to America. So who knows? I could be completely wrong there, and this is one of those places where I say that it's my theory is kind of full of holes and dead ends, and it could kind of go separate ways into smaller details. So this is where you guys come in. I would really like to have this conversation and expand on this theory, or maybe just get told off at how stupid this theory is. Alright, so now we essentially have two of Big Boss's most trusted men, Kaz and Ocelot, taking care of two of his kids. Kaz training Solid Snake, and Ocelot, well, I don't know what role Ocelot will play in Liquid's life, but if Eli really is Liquid, which, let's be honest, it is, then it's not ridiculous to think that Ocelot has probably been with Liquid since the very beginning, since he ends up in Foxhound under Liquid's command. And let's not forget that Psycho Mantis himself is in the Phantom Pain. So now we have 3 of Metal Gear Solid's Foxhound members in the same game. I think there'll be some kind of connection there. Not sure what it is, but I can't see this opportunity being overseen by Kojima. Maybe Liquid and Mantis were in some kind of child soldier program that Ocelot somehow took over. I mean, they both have the same red berets on their shoulders, although many armies do that, so it could mean nothing. Either way, once Solid Snake retires, it's possible that Ocelot uses his cunning triple agent charismatic skills to get Liquid to join Foxhound with the approval of Zero, since at this point it's maybe, once again, Ocelot using his triple agent skills, Zero still sees Ocelot as part of the Patriots. So now you have the second insurance policy under Zero's command, because Foxhound is a part of the American government and the Patriots is based off in America. And this is where it all goes to shit for the Patriots, since Liquid ended up being a revenge-ridden angsty mastermind with the same desire as Big Boss, and also knew all about the Patriots and wanted to take them down. This is stated in some of the extra content in Metal Gear Solid 2. It's like this kind of mini novel that is stuck in Metal Gear Solid 2, where it has the story of Metal Gear Solid from Natasha Romanenko's perspective. And at one point when Solid Snake passes out on top of Metal Gear, apparently Liquid is talking to the people listening in because he knows that Solid Snake is covered in nanomachines, so he knows they're listening to him. And Liquid says how he's coming after them. He's coming after the Patriots. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that for the people that didn't take the time to read that. Also, Ocelot wants to take down the Patriots in order to save Big Boss. So, if my theory is correct, this is where we all go to shit for the Patriots, because they made two miscalculations, thinking they could control Liquid, how they controlled Solid Snake, and thinking that Ocelot was really on their side. In the end, Liquid, Solidus, and Solid Snake were all originally made to be used by the Patriots in case something happened to Big Boss, or in case Big Boss rebelled again. But they all ended up being used by Ocelot and Eva in order to save Big Boss. And that's a weird conclusion to come. Like, I mean, my theory ended with how Big Boss went back to Fox Sound, even though the Patriots and Big Boss are such enemies, and how Liquid ended up with Ocelot and all of this stuff. But once again, like I always say, I started ranting, and I just came to the conclusion that when you put it in that perspective, Metal Gear Solid is really the story of Big Boss and his friends versus the Patriots. And as much as I love Solid Snake, he was kind of just a tool in all of this. And that's really sad. Anyways, that's my theory, or my theories within theories, my sets of theories. And I understand that a lot of it is really kind of reaching, but I don't know. I keep wondering what happens between Miller and Big Boss. And I just keep seeing the trailers, and I keep seeing this tension between Miller and Big Boss. And I know we haven't been shown much, but that's just the feel I got from the little bit that we've seen. It seems like every time Ocelot's on the picture, it's a nice, calm, friendly dialogue. And anytime Kaz is in the picture, there always seems to be anger and bitterness and some kind of friction going on. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Hopefully my 6 viewers will leave some comments so we can get this conversation going. Thank you for watching, if you actually sat through all of this. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.